Good morning, great morning, wonderful morning, spectacular morning, outstanding morning, magnificent morning. Oh, yes, it is. You know why? Because I choose it to be so, the same way that you can. You can make any moment however you want it to be if you'll just give it a meaning that's in harmony with how you want it to be. Really grab onto that. There's a power in you where you get to choose. Write that in your notes. Again, you hear me invite you to write that many times. I always have a choice. I always have a choice. Yes, you always have a choice. And what is that choice? The choice to choose the ideas that are in your mind. Remember, the ideas that you consent to, that you accept, is what leads to vibration. That's feeling. And that feeling leads you to the actions you take. And it also leads you to what comes to you, what's repelled by you. All of it stems from how you're thinking. And that's what we share here in Master Your Mind, that hidden power in every one of us that enables us to gain control of our destiny. Do you know that you have control of your destiny? You do. How do I know that? How am I saying that so confidently? Well, it's very simple because you can choose the thoughts you think. Remember, it's thought that externalizes itself. You become how you're thinking most of the time. And when you change that, everything changes. All right. So, with that, let's tie into where we are, and that is in this wonderful, beautiful masterpiece, The Master Key System by Charles Haanel. If you don't have a copy of this book, make sure you do get a copy of it. If you want this exact copy of it, then just click on the link that we provide you to get a copy of it. And with that being said, I want to make sure that you understand this and remind you of this, that all the words in here, all the information, all of the knowledge in here is not power. The only way that what's being shared with you here will become power in your life is if you use it. See, you've got to apply it. You've got to practice it. You've got to engage with the information. And with that engagement will come the change. And so another thing also as well is make sure you have your goal card with you. And with this being said, I will remind you again that we don't manifest what's written on a goal card. We don't manifest the vision board. We don't manifest affirmations. What we manifest is how we feel about these. See, it's that feelings, that's a secret. And when you learn how to control the feeling, oh my gosh, what happens is you control your life. As in the heart, so is the life. It's something from James Allen, from Out of the Heart, which is a beautiful, beautiful book. All right. So, anyways, let's dive into this, shall we? Let's tap into where we left off in this beautiful masterpiece. Now, here, oh my goodness, the page is a little bit off here. Let me go ahead and fix this real quick. Now, with this, again, my reminder for you is remember, you've got to use it. You've got to apply the information. So let me go ahead and make this change here before we move over there. And I'll do it this way and adjust it. And while we're doing that, I also want you to write in your notes too as well that you are powerful. Say, I am powerful. And that is a wonderful truth to tap into and to recognize and understand because it is true. You are powerful. Why? Because you can think whatever you want to think. Remember, no one can force you to think the thoughts you think. All right, so I got this all set up here. And now let's go back to where we are in this wonderful book. There we go. Boom. See, all fixed, all better. Now, the page that we're on here is on page 277. And we went over this one specific section before, but we're going to go about it again. Okay, we're going to tap into it again. And here's what it says. If you wish to bring about the realization of any desire, form a mental picture of success in your mind by consciously visualizing your desire In this way, you will be compelling success. You will be externalizing it in your life by scientific methods. Now, what does that mean? Well, the core idea here is if you want something to happen, just think of that in terms of your goal, you must create a clear picture. And that clear picture, where's got to be in your mind. And then by consistently visualizing it, by holding the idea on the screen of your mind, you set in motion forces that make it real. Now, this is something that Neville Goddard talks about beautifully. You got to think from it. Don't think of it, think from it. You can look at it this way, that your mind is a workshop. It's a workshop. And that's another thing that Neville Goddard talks about. I know we're talking here, we're reading from Charles Haanel, but it's so beautiful how they intertwine beautifully together. When you fuse with the state, when you become one with it, when you hold the idea, it becomes your workshop, the lens from which you view the world. And then what starts to happen from that is all the plots, plans, dramas, and situations they activate. The whole point being is that what you vividly imagine in your mind, what you become one with and picture often enough, it eventually shows up in your life. See, that's how you're thinking. That's not what you're thinking, it's how you're thinking. And why does it happen? Why? Because you're in alignment with it. Now, again, just think about this for you, this ideal of yours, this goal that you would love to be made a material fact. Will you be able to deliver this as an outcome in your life if your mind is saturated with thoughts that are not in harmony with this? No. See, that doesn't work. Things are not brought into existence by thinking of things that are not in harmony with it. You're never ever going to be able to get this into your life if you're not in harmony with it. Again, that's me repeating that for you because I want you to get that. I want you to understand that. Now he goes further. We can only see what already exists in the objective world. But what we visualize already exists in the spiritual world. And this visualization is a substantial token of what will one day appear in the objective world. Now, are you paying attention to this? This is pointing out how important it is for you to understand that it's always in the mind first. And then next he says, if we are faithful to our ideal, that's what will deliver the outcome. And what does that faithful mean? It means you've got to be loyal to that unseen reality. So let's read this as a whole again, this first sentence. We can only see what already exists in the objective world. But what we visualize already exists in the spiritual world. And this visualization is a substantial token of what will one day appear in the objective world if we are faithful to our ideal. Now, you want to earn a lot more money? You've got to imagine yourself with a lot more money. And to materialize it, you've got to be loyal to that. So you can't get there if the ideal that you're involved with is not in harmony with that. You have to let that be how you're thinking and remove the limitation that's there. Now, the reason for this is not difficult. Visualization is a form of imagination. This process of thinking forms impressions upon the mind. And these impressions in turn form concepts and ideals, and they in turn are the plans from which the master architect will weave the future. Now, what's he talking about? He's talking about how like attracts like. He's talking about how when you are on this frequency, that ideas that are in harmony with this frequency will come to you through your intuition. Now, grab onto what I'm saying here. When you visualize, when you see that image in motion, when you think from it to the point of where you're feeling it, what comes to you are ideas that are in harmony with it. Remember, when the intuitive thoughts that come to you are always going to be in harmony with the frequency that you're on. So when you imagine this, whatever this is for you, and you're loyal to it, and then you're imagining it vividly from thinking from the end of from what this is, not thinking of it, then those ideas come. And these impressions in turn form concepts of ideals, and they in turn are the plans from which the master architect will weave the future. See, that's how you discover how. Which leads to another important truth for you to recognize as well. It's very important that you never, ever make how something that you're locked into before you make a committed decision to do something. Whenever you're looking at, well, how am I going to do it? How am I going to do it? Before you make the decision, what starts happening is worry and doubt. See, you don't know how. And because you don't know how, and all you're focusing on is how you're going to do it, what'll start happening is a narrative that will lead you to actually not make the decision to do what you need to do, which then will lead you to be stuck where you are. See, you've got to make a decision. And when you make a decision about whatever it is that you would love for your life and lock into it, see, that's when the how will come to you. And many of you know what I'm talking about. Those of you who, for instance, have tapped into joining us for thinking the results, when you made the decision, the how came to you. And you'll find that that was the case for you for anything when you discovered the how. Once you made that decision, once you entered on the frequency, the ideas came. And that's what he's pointing out here. Now, before we move further, for those of you who are watching this streamed on social media, if you'd like to dive into more of this, then subscribe to Master Your Mind by going